Hello everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Ryan Roots, and for the past 10 years, I've been a full-time eBay reseller. And in today's video, I have some interesting news. I think in the last 10 years of us reselling full-time on eBay, this is probably the craziest thing that I've ever seen eBay do. As far as like how it's going to affect sellers going forward, this is the craziest change that I've ever personally seen. And let me preface just a couple things. If you don't sell on eBay, if you don't use promoted listings on eBay, then this video doesn't really pertain to you. But if you do sell on eBay, and specifically if you use promoted listings, or if you were going to use promoted listings, then there's some information in today's video that I think you're going to want to hear. And then one other thing that I'll say before I jump into exactly what's going on. eBay in the past, we've been making videos on YouTube for the past 8 years? I think maybe even 9 years now. We have thousands of videos, and a lot of them are about eBay. And a lot of the time we've made videos like kind of critiquing eBay or calling out certain things that have happened on eBay. And the one thing that I'll say that eBay is really good at, to their credit, is they actually do listen to their sellers. And one way that they listen to their sellers is by watching YouTube videos like this. They actually have employees that'll watch videos like this, and they'll go into the comment section and they'll read what other eBay sellers are saying in the comments. So I say all that to say, if you have an opinion on what's going on, please leave it in the comment section. If you are an eBay seller and you want your voice to be heard, please leave a comment on this video. Even if it's the same comment as another person who left a comment, just have your voice heard. Sometimes eBay reads these comments, and I'm not saying that, we are the be all and end all as far as reselling goes and as far as eBay selling goes. But what I can tell you again is that we have had in past videos, we've had eBay people, executives, whatever, we've had them come to our videos and read the comment sections. And I've seen eBay reverse changes that they've made in the past. So they'll either change what they're doing, or they'll roll back changes that they were going to do. So let your voice be heard. Leave a comment on this video. Okay, so now I want to paint you a scenario, okay? Let's bring this back to kind of real life. Let's say that I work at a car dealership, right? And I am on commission. So if I sell a car, I make a commission. So let's say I work at this car dealership and there are other employees there exactly the same as me who make a commission if they sell a car. Now, let's say we're working at this car dealership and a nice, lovely couple comes onto the dealership and they're looking at a specific car. Let's say a Toyota Camry. All right, I work at a Toyota dealership. So they walk into the lot. They deal with my coworker. They don't talk to me. They go to my coworker, and my coworker shows them a nice, beautiful 2026 red Toyota Camry and shows them everything, and they like the car, but they decide not to purchase it. And then they leave the lot and nothing happens. No sale happens, right? Then let's say the next day, or actually let's say a month later, let's say 30 days later, a completely different couple comes onto the lot. That red Camry is still there. Same exact car, but a different couple, completely different couple. They come onto the lot and now they deal with me. I show them the car and we make a deal. I sell them the car, okay? So I should get a commission for selling them that car, but let's say that the dealership that I work for, this Toyota dealership, comes to me and says, hey, good job selling that car, the exact same car that your coworker showed a completely different couple 30 days ago. But what we're gonna do, because you sold that car, what we're gonna do is you need to pay your coworker a split of your commission. Even though he had nothing to do with your sale, even though it was the exact same car, he had an opportunity to sell that car to a completely different couple, and this couple doesn't know that couple, they have nothing to do with each other, and it's 30 days later. But because somebody else came onto the lot and bought that car that he had shown to somebody else 30 days ago, because that happened, we want you to give a portion of your commission to your coworker. Does that make sense? Does that seem fair? Well, that's kind of what eBay's doing with this new promoted listing rollout that is happening in January of 2026. So let's talk about it. And if that analogy is confusing, I'm gonna tighten it up a little bit and tell you exactly what's happening with this crazy promoted listing thing. Also, if my voice sounds off, I'm sorry. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but this seemed like it was so important that I still wanted to make this video and get it out, even though my voice is weird. So I apologize. But I guess the first thing that we should do is talk about promoted listings in general. How do they work? For those of you who don't know, if I'm selling this street shark on eBay, which I'm not, it's not for sale, it's mine. But let's say I'm selling this street shark on eBay. I can list it on eBay and it goes into what's called eBay's organic search. So that's just the main listings on eBay, no promotion. I'm not paying any extra to get it like advertised in certain spots. It just goes into eBay's organic listings. If I sell this item on eBay and I do not promote it, I just pay eBay's regular seller fees. Now, as an eBay seller, eBay has given me the opportunity to promote this item. And there's a couple different ways that you can promote items, but instead of going into like the pay-per-click ways and all that stuff, I'm only going to talk about what this promoted listing change has to do with, which is paying a promoted listing fee when the item sells. So currently the way that it works is, let's say I want to sell the street shark and I want it to go into eBay's organic search, but I also want to pay a little bit extra. I choose the amount. So currently, like for our eBay store, what we typically do, depending on the competition on the item, is we will promote that item at 5%. So what that means is now eBay is going to take this item and it's going to boost it to the top of the search or put it in certain places or show it to more people, and it'll say promoted listing on it. And it's just going to put it in front of more people's eyes. Instead of only in that organic search, it's going to put it to the top of the search. And if somebody clicks on that promoted item, if they click on that promoted item and then they purchase that item, we pay an extra 5% when the item sells. That is on top of eBay's regular selling fee. So to make it easy to understand and just round numbers, let's say it's not, but let's say eBay's selling fee is 10%. So I'm paying eBay 10% when my item sells organically. And then I'm also paying 5% on top of that if a potential buyer clicks on the promoted listing ad and goes through with the sale. So now instead of paying 10%, I am paying 15%. So if I sell this for $100, I am paying $10 in fees to eBay for selling the item, plus an additional $5 in fees for eBay promoting that item and that item selling through promoted listings. Now, again, currently how the system works is if I am promoting this item, it is still in eBay's organic search. So if someone goes to eBay and doesn't click on the promoted listing, the one that is, extra being promoted, and they just go into the organic search and they find my item organically through eBay's regular listings on its website, and they purchase it, I only pay 10%. I only pay that eBay fee. Because they never clicked on that promoted listing, I only pay that 10%. So for us, as an example, on eBay, if we're promoting all of the items in our store, typically, and usually we'll promote most of our items, but typically 50% of our items are selling and we're paying that extra promoted listing fee. The other 50%, we do not pay that extra promoted listing fee because people are finding them organically. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is currently the way that it works is if I am a potential buyer on eBay and I click on a promoted listing, let's say, again, I click on the street shark promoted listing, and then let's say I don't buy it, but then I come back, same person, I come back to eBay I think it's up to 30 days. Up to 30 days later, and then I click on the item again and I purchase it, the seller still pays that promoted listing fee. So because I clicked on it before in the past, it puts cookies on my browser, and then when I go back to it again, eBay's tracking this. And for the next 30 days, if I come back to eBay and make the purchase, complete the purchase, then the seller has to pay that additional promoted listing fee, that additional 5% in our case, which, okay, totally fair, right? eBay put the promoted listing up there. They got someone to click on that promoted listing. And even though they didn't purchase it, they came back a few weeks later and then they did purchase it. So whatever, I have no problem paying that extra fee in that case, in that scenario. But now with this new change, this is what is so crazy about what is happening. And to me, listen, eBay's done a lot of money grabs in the past, what I would consider changes that they've made, purely to increase their revenue so that they can show, increase profit and their stock goes up and their shareholders are happy. Again, eBay is a publicly traded company, so they have to continue to make more money. But this new change that they're implementing next year in 2026 in January, I think it's January 13th is when it goes into effect. This new change is absolutely insane to me. I think it's crazy. And the way that the new change works, and by the way, they've already been beta testing this. I believe they released it in, I think, Australia. I know they beta test stuff in Australia. I think Italy was another place that they have been beta testing this. We knew about this happening like 6 months ago, but it hadn't, trickled over into the US market yet. But now eBay's announced that they are going to be implementing it in the US, probably because they saw how much extra money they're making in the other markets where they were beta testing this change. But this is the way that this new promoted listing system works. So again, let's say I list this item and I promote it on eBay, standard promoted listing at 5%. All right. And then someone comes to eBay, they see their promoted listing on eBay, they click on that promoted listing, and then they do not buy it, right? The item is promoted, it's still on eBay, it's still in eBay's organic, it's still being promoted. Okay, that person leaves, they do not come back and buy the item. But a completely different person that has nothing to do with the first person, they have never seen the promoted listing ad. They have never, it's the first time they're seeing this item altogether. A completely different person comes to eBay and they do not, this is the important part, they do not click on the promoted listing. They are never shown the promoted listing. They do not click on it. They find it organically in eBay's organic search feature, organic listings, and they find the item and they purchase it. A completely different person from the first person who clicked on the promoted listing. They have nothing to do with each other. The second person has not seen the promoted listing. When that happens, because I promoted this item as a seller, I still pay the promoted listing fee on the second buyer who never saw it promoted, was never advertised it as promoted, because the first person clicked on it at one point. I believe it's still up to 30 days, but because they clicked on it at one point and didn't purchase it, now a completely separate random buyer, potential buyer, comes to eBay, finds it organically and buys it. I, as the seller, am responsible to pay the extra fee. Crazy. What this means for eBay sellers, in my opinion, what this means for eBay sellers is if you are going to be promoting your items on eBay, expect to pay the promoted listing fee 100% of the time. So if you're promoting the item at 5%, expect to pay the 10% to eBay for the selling fee, plus the 5%, 100% of the time. That was a lot of percentages. 60% of the time, it works every time. It's crazy, but that's the way that we have to think about this going forward. If eBay doesn't change anything, and this is the new system that they're going with, now I know if I promote something on eBay, 100%, I'm going to be paying that extra promoted listing fee. So the options are don't promote your items, and they just go into organic search and, hopefully you still get sales, or promote your items and just consider that when the item sells, you're going to be paying 15% instead of 10%. If you're promoting 100% of your store, then every single time an item sells, you are going to be paying that promoted listing fee. So that's the change. So again, for us, if we're promoting all of the items in our store and 50% of them now are selling with that extra promoted listing fee, I know when this change happens that now I can expect 100% of the items to have that extra promoted listing fee. So, for us, like, what am I going to do in the future? What are we going to do in the future? I think we'll promote less items. I think we will only promote items that have really high competition, I don't know, maybe we'll promote those items a little bit higher and not promote other items that hopefully will still sell in eBay's organic search. But I think we're definitely going to take our promoted listing budget, what we would typically do, where we put most of our listings as promoted. I think we'll probably do only half of them. 30% to 50% of our store will be promoted, or maybe we'll just lower that 5% that we typically promote at. Maybe we'll lower that down to 3%, and that'll help mitigate some of the costs. I'm not sure yet. This is, again, it's a new change. We'll keep you updated on this YouTube channel with what we do for our own eBay stores. But I just wanted to put this out there because it's being talked about right now, and that's my opinion. In my opinion, it's absolutely a money grab. I think it's a travesty. I think it's illegal robbery, basically. I mean, that's a little bit extreme. You are choosing to opt into eBay's promoted listing service, but eBay is choosing to take advantage of their sellers, in my opinion. And that's me being critical of eBay. I think this is a very, very bad change. I think it's purely a money grab to make more revenue for eBay. And again, that's my opinion, eBay. So if you're watching this video, here's a seller that has been full-time selling on eBay for 10 years. We've made thousands of videos about eBay, promoting eBay, telling people how great eBay is. I think this is a very bad change and kind of a slap in the face to your sellers. That's my opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comment section. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Ryan Roots, and I'll see you on the next video.